Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for my moment video 4.2. We are on the adding strength and coping skills track, and we're going to continue today. So I'm really excited. Um, so today I want to tell you a story that somebody told me that I thought was fantastic. And it's about someone who went to her therapist and she was really struggling with what to bring up in therapy that week because it didn't seem like anything was that important, was that big of a deal. But the therapist is like, "What's on your mind?" And she goes, "Well, it just feels really stupid, but I just don't feel like I have any energy to like rinse the dishes and put them in the dishwasher. Like it's this huge mental block." And when I'm hearing this story, I'm like, I totally identify with that. These little tiny things that feel insurmountable sometimes. And I feel so guilty and shame about it because I think, there's so many people doing so many harder things. And here I am struggling with nothing. Um, so this woman's story just like really resonated with me from the beginning. And so the therapist said, okay, what if you just didn't rinse the dishes and you just put them in the dishwasher and ran the dishwasher twice? And the lady's like, I don't think that is allowed. Uh, hello, wasteful, terrible. And the therapist said, okay, all right, maybe you don't do it for your whole life. But what if you just do it for right now? What if you just did? What if you just ran the dishwasher twice? And she said that she tried it and it just changed everything. It just changed everything. And I loved it. I loved that she gave herself that permission, that space. And it kind of reminded me of what an old boss of mine decided to do for a whole year, which is not do the hardest thing. She said, this year, I'm going to choose to not do the hardest thing. And I've thought about that a ton since. And I've thought about how often I feel like what is expected of me, what is right, what is worthy of the kind of investment that I need to make, and the standards I have for myself is to do the hardest thing all the time, the thing that is the most lofty, the best, the most wonderful. I do that a lot, and I can't do it all the time. And especially right now, I just can't. And so, some places where I have chosen lately to not do the hardest thing, I have been using paper plates at home, and I have felt a little guilty about it, but that's where we're at. I have purchased like breakfast stuff instead of making it like I normally would have for the weekends when we were doing things together and just hanging out. Um, I have just let myself not do all the things sometimes. And it's a lot harder than I thought because I'm faced with all of these questions about what does that mean about myself? And am I lazy? Am I just trying to take the easy way out? Am I blah blah blah? And sometimes yes, sometimes I am trying to take the easy way out, and that's fantastic. Sometimes the door's right there, and to run around the building 7 times looking for a harder door to go out of, like why am I doing that? And what I've been trying to recognize for myself is that I am doing lots of great things, wonderful things, fantastic things. But sometimes doing the hardest thing gets in the way of doing the things that I want to do the most. Because when I'm doing the hardest thing about everything, the effort and the intensity and the passion that I have for the most important things in my life just fades and it's harder. And so, what if this week you found a place to not do it the hardest way and to load the dishwasher twice. What would yours be? What would that look like? And what can you notice about your feelings about yourself when you do something like that? When you choose not to do the hardest thing? What does that say about you? And what do you believe about you if you do that? And is that what you want to believe about you? Um, Remember that we don't have to approach this stuff with judgment about ourselves. So if we see that we do have worth and value tied up in doing the hardest thing like I do, that's okay. That's okay. But what would happen if we did it different just this time? What would happen if we used paper plates and bought treats for school? And I don't know. What if we just chose not the hardest thing? So this week, I would love to hear what you're doing to not choose the hardest thing. So feel free to email me at althomas7@alaska.edu and we'll start a conversation. Coming up soon, there's going to be a community where we can talk about these things on a regular basis. So stay tuned for that. But for now, thanks so much for joining me for my moment. And I can't wait to see what you come up with. Have a great day.